Let me tell you something most people refuse to admit. You've been wasting your time, chasing people, opportunities, or dreams that don't even pick you back. And here's the kicker. Every second you do that, you're telling yourself you're not enough. But what if I told you? The moment you stop chasing what isn't chasing you, everything in your life starts chasing you instead. That's when the game changes. Think about it. How many hours, messages, or ideas have you poured into something that barely notices your effort? And how many times have you ignored the signs that it's not meant to be? Here's the truth. Pursuing what doesn't choose you isn't dedication. It's a trap. And the hardest part, most people don't even see they're trapped because they've mistaken attention for affection, persistence for progress, and hope for opportunity. Think about your time, attention, and emotional energy as a form of currency. Just like money, it has value, and how you spend it directly affects the quality of your life. Every text you send, every favor you do, every ounce of emotional investment you pour into someone who doesn't reciprocate is like giving away your money for free. You don't get anything tangible back, and over time, it leaves you drained and undervalued. Many people don't realize that constantly giving to people, relationships, or opportunities that aren't choosing them is a subtle form of self-sabotage. When you chase what isn't available, you're essentially devaluing your presence. You're telling yourself, I'm willing to expend my energy even if it's not wanted, appreciated, or matched. The problem is, energy isn't infinite. You only have so much time, mental space, and emotional bandwidth. Every moment spent investing in someone or something that isn't actively choosing you is a moment you could have spent cultivating connections, opportunities, or passions that truly uplift you. And it's not just about being rejected, it's about the slow erosion of self-worth that happens when you consistently place yourself in one-sided dynamics. You start to measure your value by how much effort you give, rather than by how much respect, attention, or love you receive in return. The harsh truth is that people, circumstances, and opportunities reflect back the energy they receive. If someone isn't choosing you, it's not a sign that you need to push harder, it's a sign that your energy is misallocated. And here's the empowering part. The moment you recognize your energy as a currency, you gain control. You can choose where to invest it, and with that choice comes leverage. When you spend your energy wisely on people, goals, and opportunities that actively welcome you, you create momentum, confidence, and an environment where your efforts are not just seen, but valued. It's not selfish to protect your energy, it's essential. Just like you wouldn't spend money carelessly on things that hold no return, you shouldn't spend your energy on anything that doesn't actively choose you. Recognizing this is the first step toward reclaiming your time, your confidence, and ultimately, your life. Your energy is your most powerful resource, and how you choose to allocate it determines who you become and what you attract. Many of us fall into a cycle without even realizing it, where we invest our time, emotions, and attention into people, relationships, or opportunities that never fully return that investment. It starts subtly, one extra message, one favor, one small compromise, and suddenly you're deep into a pattern of giving more than you receive. The key here is understanding why it happens. Most of the time, it isn't about love, respect, or genuine interest. It's about fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, or fear that if you let go, nothing better will come. This fear convinces us that persistence equals worthiness, that if we just keep showing up, the other person or the opportunity will finally notice or catch up to our effort. But here's the truth. Chasing what doesn't choose you is not determination. It's misdirected energy. When someone or something is unavailable, indifferent, or inconsistent, no amount of effort on your part changes that dynamic. Instead, it reinforces a harmful loop where you measure your value by how much you chase, rather than by how much you are naturally welcomed. Over time, this pattern creates frustration, resentment, and exhaustion. You end up emotionally depleted, constantly questioning your choices and doubting your worth, because the very thing you've been giving your energy to is incapable or unwilling to meet you halfway. This is why recognizing the pattern is so critical. Once you see it, you gain perspective. Unreciprocated effort is not a reflection of your inadequacy. It's a reflection of misalignment. You have been trying to fit yourself into spaces that were never designed to hold you. Breaking the cycle requires honesty and self-respect. You need to ask yourself, am I choosing this because I truly want it, or because I'm afraid to let it go? The moment you stop perpetuating the cycle, you reclaim your time, your energy, and your emotional stability. You free yourself to invest in connections and opportunities that actively choose you, where your effort is met with equal enthusiasm, attention, and value. Understanding this pattern is the first step toward breaking it, because once you recognize it, you can consciously redirect your focus to where it matters, toward people and experiences that reflect the energy you give, instead of draining it without return. One of the biggest traps people fall into is measuring their value based on the attention, approval, or affection they receive from others. We live in a culture that constantly signals that being chosen, noticed, or liked by someone else is the ultimate proof that we are worthy, lovable, or competent. The danger of this mindset is that it conditions you to chase external validation instead of cultivating internal assurance. When you consistently prioritize validation over self-worth, you end up in situations where you give more than you receive, compromise your values, or tolerate behavior that erodes your confidence, all in the name of being accepted. The painful irony is that the more you chase approval, the less you appear naturally attractive or empowered. People, opportunities, and relationships are drawn to authenticity, confidence, and clarity, not desperation. Constantly seeking someone or something that doesn't actively choose you is a subtle form of self-rejection. Every time you compromise your boundaries or invest in someone indifferent to your presence, you are telling yourself, either consciously or subconsciously, that your worth depends on their attention. This isn't just emotionally draining, it's corrosive to your sense of identity. True self-worth comes from understanding that your value isn't determined by external circumstances. It's the quiet confidence that even if someone doesn't choose you, it doesn't diminish your appeal, capability, or potential. When you prioritize self-worth over validation, your perspective shifts. You no longer invest in unreciprocated dynamics because you recognize that being chosen should be mutual and natural, not forced or earned through overcompensation. You start to see that the right people and opportunities will recognize and meet your energy without coercion. This shift doesn't make you arrogant, it makes you selective, intentional, and magnetic. Valuing yourself enough to walk away from what isn't choosing you is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect you can practice. It signals to the world that you know your value, that your presence is not negotiable, and that you will not settle for half-hearted attention. Over time, this mindset rewires how you interact with the world, transforming the way you approach relationships, careers, and personal goals. You stop chasing crumbs and start expecting, demanding, and accepting the full measure of respect, attention, and appreciation that you inherently deserve. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing hope with clarity. Hope feels comforting. It whispers that if you just keep trying, keep messaging, or keep investing, eventually things will change. Hope keeps you emotionally tethered to something or someone that isn't actively choosing you. The problem is that hope is passive. It doesn't create momentum. It creates attachment. It keeps you stuck in limbo, waiting for a sign, a text, or a small gesture that may never come. Clarity, on the other hand, is active. Clarity is the brutal but freeing truth about a situation. Clarity is looking at the evidence, the behavior, the consistency, the mutual effort, and honestly assessing whether this is something worth your time. When someone or something isn't choosing you, no amount of wishing, hoping, or strategizing will change that fact. Continuing to chase in the name of hope is like throwing seeds into soil that will never grow. It's wasted energy, and it slowly erodes your confidence and sense of self. Many people cling to hope because the alternative, accepting reality, is uncomfortable. Admitting that someone isn't choosing you means confronting disappointment, letting go, and stepping into uncertainty. But clarity doesn't punish you, it empowers you. It allows you to redirect your energy to what actually aligns with your life, your values, and your future. It teaches you that waiting for someone or something that won't come is not perseverance, it's avoidance. Clarity forces you to see patterns, understand red flags, and recognize when a relationship, opportunity, or goal is fundamentally misaligned with your presence. It gives you the power to make decisions that honor your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Choosing clarity over hope also changes how you show up in the world. Instead of chasing, pleading, or overcompensating, you attract what genuinely fits because your energy is directed, confident, and intentional. It's a shift from scarcity to abundance, from believing you must hold on to believing the right people, opportunities, and experiences will meet you willingly and eagerly. Clarity over hope is not pessimism, it's wisdom. It's understanding that not everything is meant to be fought for, and that your effort has far more impact when invested where it is truly welcomed. Learning to prioritize clarity allows you to break cycles of disappointment, trust your instincts, and stop wasting precious energy on what isn't choosing you. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I spending my energy on that isn't coming back to me? Drop it. I promise you, your life will open doors you didn't even know existed when you start valuing yourself enough to be chosen. One of the most overlooked truths in life is that not being chosen isn't always a reflection of your worth. It often comes down to timing. People, opportunities, and circumstances operate on their own schedules, and sometimes they simply aren't ready to align with you, even if you're exactly what they need. The mistake most of us make is reading the lack of immediate choice or attention as rejection or inadequacy, when in reality, it might just be that the conditions aren't right yet. This is why timing is so critical. If you chase or force something before it's ready to reciprocate, you create a dynamic of imbalance where you are giving too much, too soon, and setting yourself up for frustration. At the same time, waiting passively, hoping things will magically align, isn't the solution either. Timing matters, but it has to be coupled with awareness, self-respect, and patience. Understanding timing allows you to differentiate between situations that are misaligned and situations that require simply allowing life to unfold naturally. It teaches you to recognize when to step back without guilt and when to move forward with confidence. Many people fail to grasp this because they are trapped in a mindset of, if I just try harder, it will work out. The truth is, effort cannot compensate for misalignment. When you try to force timing, you risk wasting your energy on a scenario that wasn't designed to include you, while simultaneously missing out on opportunities that are ready and waiting for you. On the other hand, respecting timing means acknowledging the present reality, understanding where you are in your life and where the other person or opportunity is, and choosing to invest your energy where it is met with readiness and enthusiasm. Timing also teaches patience, one of the most underrated forms of self-respect. It encourages you to stop viewing temporary unavailability as permanent rejection and instead see it as a signal to focus on what is present and responsive. By understanding that timing matters, you begin to see patterns in your life, recognize when you are pursuing something prematurely, and make conscious choices about where your energy and attention go. This awareness allows you to act decisively rather than desperately, to wait without anxiety, and to redirect your focus toward what is truly available and aligned with your life path. Timing, ultimately, is about wisdom, discernment, and honoring the flow of life rather than constantly forcing it to bend to your will. Many people live in a state of constant competition for attention, as if being noticed or chosen by someone or something validates their existence. This is especially common in relationships, friendships, or professional opportunities where effort and visibility are mistaken for value. When you chase, overcommunicate, or constantly try to prove your worth, you are signaling that your presence is negotiable. This behavior unintentionally lowers your perceived value because people, whether consciously or subconsciously, respond to energy that is confident, secure, and self-contained. Competing for attention creates a dynamic where you are no longer a participant in mutual engagement, but a performer trying to win approval. You end up exhausting yourself, emotionally and mentally, often without receiving the recognition, love, or respect you hoped for. The truth is, attention that must be earned through relentless effort is rarely sustainable, and it often comes with strings attached. When you stop competing for attention, you reclaim your power. You no longer bend, compromise, or overextend yourself to prove that you are worthy of someone's presence or interest. Instead, you set a standard that your energy, time, and attention are valuable, and you only invest them where they are genuinely welcomed. This shift is subtle but transformative. People begin to notice the difference immediately because you exude a quiet confidence and self-assuredness that is magnetic. You no longer chase, you attract. The energy you previously spent competing is now redirected towards self-growth, meaningful connections, and opportunities that reflect your value back to you. Competing for attention often stems from fear, the fear of being invisible, overlooked, or left behind. But the irony is that the more you chase, the more you reinforce your own insecurity. True influence, attraction, and opportunity come to those who operate from alignment rather than desperation. When you understand this, you begin to recognize that the right people and opportunities will meet your energy naturally. You do not have to fight to be chosen, and you do not have to bend your presence to fit someone else's expectations. Stopping the competition is about reclaiming your agency, prioritizing your energy, and understanding that being noticed is not a transaction. It is a reflection of authentic alignment. By refusing to compete for attention, you create space for the right connections, opportunities, and relationships to enter your life, ones where your energy is met with equal investment, respect, and enthusiasm. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in life is understanding that your time, energy, and attention are limited resources, and how you allocate them directly shapes your experiences and outcomes. Too often, people pour themselves into situations, relationships, or opportunities where they are not fully valued or welcomed. This creates a pattern of imbalance, frustration, and slow self-erasure, because when you give freely to someone or something that doesn't reciprocate, you are effectively telling yourself that your presence, your effort, and your energy are negotiable. Investing where you're wanted is about flipping that script. It's about redirecting your attention and energy toward people, projects, and goals that actively choose you, where your contributions are recognized, appreciated, and met with equal commitment. When you invest in these spaces, something remarkable happens. You begin to operate from alignment, not desperation. Your energy multiplies rather than diminishes, because it's not being absorbed by one-sided dynamics. The difference between chasing and investing is subtle, but profound. Chasing implies scarcity, anxiety, and the pressure to prove your worth. Investing implies confidence, intention, and a sense of self-respect. It signals that you know your value and that you will not settle for anything less than mutual enthusiasm and engagement. This approach also rewires your perspective on relationships and opportunities. You start noticing who actively engages with your energy and who does not, who creates momentum with you and who stalls it. Over time, this discernment becomes intuitive, helping you avoid energy drains and redirect your focus toward fertile ground where growth, connection, and fulfillment are not just possible, but inevitable. Investing where you're wanted is not about entitlement or arrogance. It's about efficiency, clarity, and self-respect. It's understanding that your energy is precious and that it deserves to return to you multiplied, not depleted. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes to release what isn't choosing you, because you recognize that holding on to unreciprocated efforts is a waste of your most valuable resource. When you consistently choose to invest where you're wanted, you attract higher quality relationships, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your value rather than diminish it. This principle becomes a filter for everything in your life, helping you cultivate a reality where your energy is appreciated, your presence is respected, and your efforts lead to genuine growth and fulfillment. One of the most overlooked yet transformative acts you can practice is setting clear boundaries around your energy, time, and emotional investment. Boundaries are not walls designed to keep people out. They are a declaration of your value and a guide for how you expect to be treated. When you continuously choose people, situations, or opportunities that aren't choosing you, it often stems from a lack of boundaries. You allow your presence, effort, and attention to be stretched thin, tolerated, or undervalued because you haven't clearly defined what is acceptable for you. Establishing boundaries is a radical act of self-respect because it communicates to the world that your energy is not a free resource and that it must be met with mutuality if it is to be engaged at all. Boundaries empower you to say no without guilt, to step away from one-sided dynamics, and to reclaim control over where and with whom your energy flows. They also create clarity in your relationships and opportunities, helping you identify who truly values your presence and who does not. The irony is that people often fear setting boundaries because they worry it will lead to rejection or loss, when in fact, boundaries attract respect and authentic engagement. When you enforce boundaries, you stop being a passive participant in your life and become an active curator of the experiences, connections, and opportunities you allow into your space. This is particularly crucial when it comes to unreciprocated attention or effort. Without boundaries, you fall into patterns of over-investing, over-apologizing, and overextending, which only reinforces the dynamic that your energy is negotiable. With boundaries, you reclaim your power, and the world begins to respond differently to you. People who are genuinely aligned with you will meet you where you are. Those who are not will reveal themselves quickly, allowing you to redirect your focus without wasted effort or emotional drain. Boundaries also cultivate internal strength and self-awareness. They teach you to recognize when something or someone is misaligned with your values and energy, giving you the confidence to let go without second-guessing yourself. Over time, consistently practicing boundaries rewires your life, creating an environment where your presence is respected, your energy is honored, and your relationships and pursuits are balanced and mutually rewarding. Empowering yourself through boundaries is not just a strategy, it is a declaration that you are worthy of being chosen, valued, and treated with consistency and respect. So here's the truth I want you to take with you. Every second, every ounce of energy, every thought you invest is a reflection of your value. Stop giving it to people, situations, and opportunities that don't choose you back. Stop chasing what isn't ready to meet you, hoping for validation that never comes, and exhausting yourself in one-sided patterns. Protect your energy like the currency it is. Prioritize clarity over hope, self-worth over approval, and boundaries over fear. Invest where you are welcomed and let go where you are not. When you make that choice, you stop shrinking to fit someone else's story and you start stepping into your own. The right people, opportunities, and experiences will meet your energy willingly. They'll chase you, match you, and value you without question. And the most beautiful part, the moment you stop choosing what isn't choosing you, you open space for everything that does choose you to come rushing in. Your life begins to move with flow instead of struggle, with respect instead of compromise, and with abundance instead of scarcity. So today, make the decision to stop settling, stop forcing, and stop waiting for what isn't yours. Choose yourself first, because when you do, everything that is truly meant for you will have no choice but to find you.